Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. This week we've got a lot of crazy news in terms of voting. Today I'm actually probably going to go vote early in my primary. However, across the entire South, minus where I am, apparently, knock on wood, they are leading a massive redistricting effort. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that a racist gerrymandering map from Louisiana could be potentially okay, and they completely destroyed Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So now, in classic Confederacy, Southern, white supremacist, racist fashion, the entire South has been redistricting its states, starting with Tennessee, which has proposed this map and even passed it, which it completely eliminates the Memphis district, which was a majority black district. So Tennessee has now completely eliminated its Democrat district and basically barred out black representation in the state. There's been a lot of great showings by the representatives of Tennessee, where, they're really fighting back. They're fighting back against this injustice. And they're not the only state to do this. South Carolina has proposed this new map, which would also completely eliminate Democratic representation in the state. And then, see, people are so stupid. They're like, well, based on the 2020 election, this should be the way that it looks. That's not how that works. That's just not how that works. Especially when it's very obvious that these states are doing this based on race. Here's Alabama's recent update to their redistricting effort. The Supreme Court has ruled that the map that they blocked for 2023, they will no longer be blocking it and referring it back to the district court. This was objected by the 3 liberal justices on the court. So the 2023 gerrymandered map for Alabama, where it completely breaks up almost every black majority district in the state, yeah, that map might be making a comeback. Here's the Louisiana districting effort. Louisiana obviously being the one that started all of this. They will be eliminating an entire Democrat district. Yeah, quite literally destroying representation in the state. And keep in mind, this wasn't a fight that the Democrats started. In fact, this is a fight that the Democrats attempted to fight back against and have basically given up on at this point. This was a fight that Texas started. California responded with a democratically elected redistricting map. They then went on in Virginia to also elect a new map, to which the Supreme Court ruled that new map unconstitutional. The Supreme Court of Virginia has decided that the new map in Virginia is unconstitutional based on the way that the legislature did it. So basically what I'm hearing is that the state legislature should actually change the map themselves with no Democratic input. That if they had done it that way and made it explicitly clear that they were doing this for racial reasons, that the Supreme Court of Virginia would have actually allowed it. Or if they hadn't, then at least the Supreme Court of the United States would have allowed it, based on their recent ruling. Completely ridiculous. Like I've always said, the liberals break the rules or push the rules to their natural boundary. Not allowed. But the Republicans can take a shit and smear it all over the Constitution. And they get away with it all the time. In addition to this, let's say you go vote in this election. There's primaries all across the country, and there's a general election. Let's say you go vote in the midterms. Trump said that he wants Republicans, that Republicans want an election integrity army in every single state in November. That is what Trump is saying. He said on Truth Social, I don't even want to say this part. Chuck Schumer is hiring Eric Holder, famous for handing guns to Mexican cartels under the Barack Hussein Obama administration. He keeps hitting that Hussein. We know he's racist. I mean, that's not a big shock at this point. But I'm really over this. If I get to be old age and there's still people being this outright racist, I'm going to start hitting people. I'm going to start beating people. I'm tired of it. I really am. As part of a Democrat-led election integrity group that will no doubt try to suppress Republican voters and interfere in our elections. Furthermore, Mark Elias, a terrible lawyer with a horrible track record, is also involved. This is the same disgusting individual who was responsible for the Russia dossier to meddle in the 2016 election. I'm skipping words because I don't care about the editorializing, which I won in historic fashion. The Democrats are totally unhinged, and we will not allow them to threaten the integrity of our elections. During my election in 2024, when I won every single swing state and decisively won both votes by wide margins, the Republicans had an election integrity army in every single state to preserve the sanctity of each vote. We will be doing the same thing again in 2026. Yeah, this is going to be horrible. There's going to be ICE-style agents at every poll, is what it sounds like. We're literally bringing back fascism, man. As if we weren't already doing it. We're bringing it back in full swing, man. We're bringing back fascism full stop. So, to all these Dems that keep saying, yeah, just go vote. Just go vote. Dude. We can't just go vote anymore. This is a bit of a deeper fight. We need our elected officials who are already in the office to start doing shit. Here's while talking about the redistricting efforts, here's a Republican representative from Virginia named Jen Kiggins talking about, or on a radio show where the host is talking about Hakeem Jeffries. And the representative agrees with his following statement.
If Hakeem Jeffries wants to be involved in Virginia politics, then I suggest he does what a bunch of New Yorkers are doing. Leave New York, move down here to Virginia, run for office down here. You can represent us. If not, get your cotton-picking hands off of Virginia.
That's right. Ditto. Yes. Yes to that.
I don't even know if she was listening. I'm sure she was, but her response, I don't even think she realizes what she just agreed to. She just agreed to this guy saying that a black man should get his, quote, cotton-picking hands off of Virginia, end quote. Wow. And the fact that they're doing this right after a massive redistricting effort, crazy. I want to show one thing. And I want to show what we should be expecting out of the Democrats. I want to show what we should expect from our elected officials in the Democratic Party. This man is setting the bar. He's the Democratic nominee from Maine. He is setting the bar for what I should expect out of an elected official now.
I was in this race against Mills and I'm in this race against Collins, and people were like, these are really working class. I'm like, well, they're fucking not. I'll tell you, I mean, I've literally worked with my hands my whole life. I don't know how you want to qualify it, but they haven't.
Right.
They came from historically powerful families.
Yes.
My grandfather was a successful architect.
Yeah.
I also grew up in Sullivan fucking Maine, and my mom is still working because she has no money.
Right.
And we're trying to figure out, quite frankly, if she can't sell her restaurant,
Yeah.
She's got no retirement. Like, my wife and I we're not like broke,
Right.
but there's no money at the end of the month.
No, it's like ridiculous. I mean, it's like a.
No, I know.
Who's poor? Who's
But I think the actual question here, and this is
Yeah.
I got into this in the New York Times reporters the other day. Of course, the New York
yeah,
Times
of
is
course.
very into this very important question. And I was like, look, the real question here is like, what is the definition of working class today? And for me, it's essentially everybody who isn't just making all of their money on an immense amount of wealth. If you start a business and you get successful, but you still have to go in every single day and work your ass off, I'm sorry, you fucking work for a living.
Yeah.
You work, and chances are when you go home, when you look at your tax bill as a small and medium-sized business, you probably have moments you're like, fuck, like we're gonna have to figure out how to make this work. You could make $25 million a year in this country. You are way closer to somebody living in poverty than any of the billionaires.
I mean, you're kind of saying that's actually I never thought of it this way. If you're making more of your money or most of your money as passive income,
Yeah.
then you're not working.
You're not working
because you're literally not working.
You're not working. You don't work. and also like I don't count working as like being fucking CEO.
Right.
Like
right,
I'm sorry.
yeah, right.
Like showing up and,
Right.
and doing this whole.
Right.
They're like, oh no, we'll cut that. We'll do this. I'm like, nah, dog. Like you got to like show up and like talk to people at the workplace.
Yes.
And these New York Times reports like, well, that's a really expansive vision of working class. I'm like, you know what else is expansive? Wealth inequality. Because all of us don't own anything. And a couple people own damn near everything now. The system that begets that always protects itself by trying to drag us all into this whole deep argument about like, well, who actually has the legitimacy
Right.
to claim, like, fuck off.
If I don't get that kind of energy from people going forward, I'm not going to vote for them. I'm not. I look at people like Chuck Schumer who literally go on the Senate floor and fucking disintegrate right in front of us. And I'm like, yeah, that's not cutting it. Honestly, Graham Plattner, I wouldn't mind him being the Senate Majority Leader either. We got to get somebody who actually gives a shit running the show. Chuck Schumer's old as fuck. He doesn't care. He's our righteous a freedom fighter for Israel. You know, he's like, I will do everything I can for Israel. You know, that's the kind of person that he is. And we got to stop having motherfuckers from California and New York representing the Democratic Party in the Senate and in the House. I'm sorry. The wider electorate looks at that and goes, y'all are elite pieces of shit. Elite. This is why this redistricting effort is happening. This is literally why. Because the Democrats are spineless and won't do anything about it. And they've sat on their hands for too long now. And the Republicans have gained a lot of momentum. They've gained a lot of territory. Think about it. We were already so deep in when we lost 3 Supreme Court seats to the Trump administration. Think about how deep we are into this. Like, they've been sitting on their hands for way too long. We need somebody that will actually fight representing the Democratic Party, and that's the bar that we should be setting. So when you think about these redistricting efforts, think about who's not fighting back against them. You know, think about the Democrats who are not talking about it. Okay, let's talk about an interesting situation that hits a little close to home because I live in Georgia. If I keep whistling my teeth, I'm going to rip my teeth out. I'd rather have a lisp than have the whistle. Let's talk about the data centers that they're building in Georgia. 2 in particular. In Southwest Metro Atlanta, a story came out that in Fayetteville, Georgia, there is a data center that has used 30 million gallons of water illegally. Apparently the locals were noticing that their water pressure was abnormally low. The data center was using a bunch of water unbilled, about $150,000 worth, I believe, The data center claimed it was an honest mistake, but locals were told by the town to conserve water, and the data center continued to run. People have reported that they've seen the sprinklers going on outside all day, every day. These data centers are resource grabbers. They're resource grabbers. While this is happening in Fayetteville, about 30 minutes west of Fayetteville in Coweta County, there is another data center effort called Project Sail. And this is in northwest Coweta County, Georgia. Currently, Georgia Power is attempting to eminent domain residential homes for this data center. So the state government is working with these data center companies to clear room for the buildings. Here's a TikTok girl here's a girl on TikTok that lives in that area talking about it.
Hey you guys, my name's Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening to our county. So as you can see behind me, we have these power lines. Georgia Power is going to expand these lines to support power to the data center. What they're doing to homeowners is they're taking their homes. This is my childhood home behind me. It is being taken by force by Georgia Power. Homeowners in this county do not have a choice. It is called eminent domain, and they will take it. Hey, you guys, my name's Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia.
Now, she posted this, and it's gone pretty viral, where people are talking about, what can you do to fight against eminent domain? What can you do to fight against these data centers? Currently, it seems like the commissioners and local officials that have voted for this are in the hot seat right now because the people did not consent to this being built. And there are legal remedies to prevent something like this happening. Really, what we should do is break up Georgia Power and stop having a monopoly on electricity in this state and have multiple electricity companies operate in the state instead of just the one. Because if Georgia Power was a one of many competitors and not a monopoly, then there would be an actual way to fight against this. But yeah, so this girl is about to lose her home because of a data center. This data center will obliterate forests, will destroy traffic in the area, and will suck up the water supply of that county and increase electricity bills for everybody. Here's a follow-up video that she made. Apparently, her account has been getting attacked after making that video. So here's her follow-up video on the topic.
Hello, my name is Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia. We are Noonan, Sharpsburg, Grantville, Moreland, little bit all together there in Coweta County. I wanted to come on here today and talk about something that happened with my TikTok account. So I made 2 videos talking about how Georgia Power is taking families' homes and properties against their will. One of those being my own family. I have a personal connection to this story, which is why it's so important to me personally. Although nobody in this town wants a damn data center, our commissioners still approved it. So therefore, Georgia Power is using easement rights to force homeowners, longtime homeowners, old homeowners, into selling their family properties and their family homes so they can be torn down and power lines be extended to support these data centers. This is wrong on so many levels, but when I made these videos to speak out against it, TikTok banned my videos. They said that they're a violation of community guidelines. I never violated any community.
God, I wonder what company owns TikTok now that might not want that kind of information spreading amongst the masses. God, it might be, I don't know, Oracle. It's almost like Oracle has its own data center projects and its own stakes in data centers and its own AI funding that makes it in its own best interest to ban content like this. Crazy, right? Crazy that a company like Oracle would want to ban something like this. This is ridiculous, man. How much, dude? How many more? I need like a thing playing in the background so I stay on track. How many more AI data centers are we gonna put up with before we realize that it's destroying everything around us? Think about this. They're using all of our power, jacking up our power bills, because this is how it works. Power companies, because they have a monopolistic contract with the state, God, they charge you on your power bill, right? You're not paying for the power that they're sending you. The power that they're sending you costs next to nothing. What you're actually paying for are their construction projects. Every time a power plant is built, you're paying for that. That's why your power bill goes up every time they build a new power plant somewhere. Every time they've got to repair and extend and expand the power lines, they're charging you more on your power bill. And this data center is going to get that shit subsidized, probably through your tax dollars. But to run all those new lines and to generate all that power, they're going to have to beef up the power plants. They're going to have to run new lines. They're going to have to beef up the pre-existing lines because a lot of those lines are like, 70 years old. And your power bills are going to go up exponentially. In addition to that, your drinking water is going to become contaminated because these data centers are not regulated. None of these regulations are enforced on these data centers. And so your water supply is going to get contaminated. I work pretty close to a data center, and we installed like this, one of those like water fountain things where you can just put your bottle in it and it fills up your bottle. I actually really liked it. And I used to like bring the same plastic water bottle there every day. Like I would, buy a plastic water bottle, drink all of it, bring it to work, because if somebody stole it, I wouldn't miss it. And I would refill it all day, refill it all the next day, probably do it the third day, and then I would swap it out with a new one. I liked it, and I actually ended up drinking a shitload of water doing that. And one day it just started tasting like salt, like sand was being poured in it. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just the bottle. I got a different bottle, filled it up, tasted like sand. I was like, okay, something's wrong with this machine. They like cleaned it, filled up my bottle, still tasted salty. I found out a few days later it's because the data center near us was contaminating our water supply. It's sucking up a ton of the county's water. And the only thing that the only thing that was good that came out of that was the fact that I don't live in the county that I work in. So like I could still go home and get clean drinking water. But that's not the case for everybody. A lot of the people that I work with live there. And so they probably go home, they probably fill up a pot with water to boil for something that night, or they refill their cup. Their fridge filter probably goes out way quicker now. Their tap probably tastes horrible. And they're showering with like dirty salt water because of these data centers. They're not regulated. They have no one to answer to. And I've read up on this county's data center that they're trying to build. I've read up on it. And one of the commissioners, Al something, I don't remember his full name, he wants to create like a board that oversees the data centers. Liberalism at its finest, folks. Liberalism at its finest. A board that totally cannot be corrupted, of an unelected official that can easily be paid off because they're not withholden to finance restrictions. An unelected official that can easily be paid off, overseeing the regulations and enforcement of those regulations on these data centers. Great job, guys. Great job. So yeah, if you live here, you should definitely be voting those people out.
Community guidelines. I only came on here to tell the truth about what's happening in Coweta County, Georgia. This is happening to at least 30 people. Some of them are elderly, cannot handle this on their own. Some of these people have families. Some of these.
I know, imagine you spend your whole life paying off that house. God forbid even you built that house yourself. and you've owned that house for like 50 years, and these data center companies come in and go, we're going to take your home and we're going to destroy it. And yeah, you'll get paid for it, but good luck finding another house. Good luck finding another one. Oh, that house that you've already paid for, that, you know, it's yours now. All you pay on it is like your utility bills and your property taxes because you own it, or you've even built it in a lot of cases. Yeah, we're going to take that shit so we can bulldoze it and build a fucking power line. Ridiculous.
Properties have been passed down by generation to generation. This is not an option for Coweta County homeowners. This is something they are being forced to do, even though there are many petitions and other things in place trying to make this stop. Our commissioners still approve these projects. It's wrong. And I feel like people should know that in America, you do not have the right to your land. You do not have the right to your property. They can come and take that from you, and there will be nobody there to help you. And when you speak out against it online, they'll ban your videos. They'll block you. They'll threaten to take away your whole entire account. There is no freedom of speech. There is no protection of property. It doesn't make any sense. And people should know about this. That's all I have to say.
Oh, I just nearly avoided the TikTok nuke sound. Yeah. And to fight against this, by the way, incredibly difficult. Really, the only recourse that these people have are publicly speaking out, getting a lot of public attention, and voting out their elected officials and replacing them with people that will actually fight for them. It's very rare to be able to win an eminent domain case. Because, I mean, it's literally the government ruling in favor of the government. Like, it's not fair at all. So I wanted to highlight this. I think it shows a growing increase in these useless hunks of garbage that they keep building everywhere, by the way. Like, people are like, oh, you use your phone, and those have servers. And like, yeah, those don't use nearly as much energy, don't use nearly as much water, have a way bigger utility than an AI data center. Nobody's using AI. The economic reports that came out of last year showed that pretty much for the first time ever, major investments by technology companies in a big innovative project, in this case AI, yielded zero return. They invested billions of dollars into this, and they've made nothing back. Because no one's using it. Even when it's shoehorned into stuff, no one's using it. I technically have Copilot on this computer. I'm still running Windows 10, and I've gotten stuff popping up being like, you want to use Copilot? You want to use Copilot? No, I don't. There's an AI thing on my iPhone. And it's not it's not technically the same. It is a little different from a traditional AI because it's Apple Intelligence, so it's just some shit that runs on your phone locally. Even that I don't use because the term AI has such a disgusting like stink on it now. Why would I want to use that? If I go on YouTube, why do I want AI to find me a video? You know, whenever I go on Twitter, every tweet I click on has some fucking moron in the comments being like, hey Grok, what is a peanut butter sandwich made of? Hey Guac, is slavery bad? What do you mean it's bad? I thought it was pretty good. My parents told me, because I'm only 12, my parents told me yesterday that actually slavery was pretty good. There's always some moron in the replies asking Grok a stupid-ass question. Why would you Google something when you can just use ChatGPT, right? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want a language model to answer questions for you? And even Google's not safe. You type in something on Google, top thing it gives you is the AI overview with no option to disable it. Bing does the same thing, so don't think Bing is in the clear here, because Bing does the exact same thing. even Gmail being like, want to use AI to write a response email to this person? No. You want AI to summarize this email? No. I don't. I actually want to use my head. I didn't go to school for fucking 13 years. Longer than that, 15 years, to not use this thing up here. Nobody's using this crap. I shouldn't say nobody. I do know of people that use ChatGPT, unfortunately. But the majority of people don't care for it. They see it as like this novelty gimmick crap that they've used like 3 times. They made a funny picture of them as like a superhero, or look, I'm holding a fortune cookie. Isn't this cool? It's a little cartoon of me holding a fortune cookie. You know, some crap like that. Like, I know people that have done that and then they just don't use it anymore after that. They're like, why would I need to use that? I don't need it. It was fun for like 5 minutes and now I don't need it. Here's a state senator. I think this is her interviewing him. A state senator talking about the project sale stuff going on.
Hey you guys, it's Ansley from Coweta County, Georgia, fighting for my mom's house that's being taken by eminent domain. Today I'm here with Senator Greg Dolezal, showing him my mom's property that they're trying to take from us. As you see behind me, these are the power lines that neighbor my mom's property. They already have 400 feet of property here. They have plenty of room to work with, but they want more. How much more? They want 200 feet more in this direction. If you want to come this way, Mom, you can kind of see. My mom's house is just through those woods right there. As you can see, it's wrong. It's not right. They have plenty of room to work with here. They don't have to take these homes, but they're doing it anyways. What do you think about this?
This is crazy. I had no clue that there was this much space, and frankly, Ansley, when I pulled up, I kind of figured that maybe they're going to come into the first row of trees. I did not realize it was going to be all the way over there.
Yeah, see, it does make no fucking sense, doesn't it? It makes absolutely zero fucking sense. There's so much space. Literally so much space. It's just greed. It's greed, because you know that's not their only plan. That's the plan that they've proposed to expand the power lines out to what they've said they'll do. But the actual plan will be way more expansive. That's why they need all that fucking space. You don't go like, yeah, I'm going to go get a bowl of ice cream, and then you pull out the world's largest spoon with like a goddamn mixing bowl. You know, like you're clearly getting more than just a couple scoops of ice cream, bro. It's a King Batch joke. But, but you get my point. It's literally the, can I get a spoonful of ice cream? And then you show up with the world's biggest fucking spoon. They have larger plans here that we don't know about. They're literally trying to trick us with all this shit. You know, this is way more sinister than we think it'll be. And it's really funny, this guy being like, yeah, I didn't fucking realize that, that they all had this much fucking room. I mean, what the hell?
Y'all, public policy decisions and votes have downstream implications that affect real families and real people. And the fact that we have this crazy tax credit here in Georgia that is giving away billions of dollars for data centers that come set up shop here in Georgia is why so many of them are coming.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And, you know, we've been fighting this fight as to whether or not the data centers should have to pay their pro rata share of this capacity expansion. That's been a big fight at the Capitol. But this data center tax credit thing is the reason why families like yours are having to deal with this. And I'm just so sorry for what y'all are going through.
I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everybody's support who has shared my videos. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to be out here every day until this house is either on the ground or stays in our family forever. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all the shares. And Georgia Power, I'm coming for you.
I mean, how much more shit are we going to let these corporations get away with? You know? Like, think about it. Like, it's always something. It's always like, oh, this billion-dollar corporation needs, you know, this giant nature preserve so they can build a Walmart. Or so they can build a parking garage. Or, you know, oh, we need this entire wooded area next to the Yates power plant for a giant data center. And on top of that, we need to bulldoze 30 houses so we can expand the power lines and just have all this land to ourselves. When the world is gone and it's burned to the ground and people have all starved to death or they've all died out, you can't eat money. What is the goal? I mean, is it just blind greed? Malicious, blind greed? Like, what is it? Do these billionaires, these young millionaires and billionaires who are funding these projects, do they realize they're not going to live long enough to enjoy that money? Even though the full healthy life they won't. But in the world that they're paving, where they're destroying our nature preserves, destroying forests, destroying the water supply, destroying the air quality, that they're not going to live to see old age. And if they do, they're not going to like it. I mean, how far does the greed go? You know, how can you be that greedy? Because think about it, you're going to get your wealth, right? But you've destroyed the planet in the process. No one can breathe anymore. It's so fucking hot. People are dying in droves. I mean, even this year, that super El Nino that's coming, good luck, because the last one killed a lot of people. You know, when the world's basically so hot that it's unbearable and the air quality is so bad you can't breathe without like a respirator or some kind of special air filter system, and you can't even find drinking water. It's a rare thing to come across. How are you going to enjoy that mass amount of wealth that you've accumulated? Why do you want to live in a world like that? I know my points go a little bit more esoteric and macro scale than this creator might have intended, but that is the ultimate implication of these data centers. This is just one of many data centers being built across the country. This one just hits close to home for me because it's in Georgia. But, you know, that's the mass implication of these data center projects. How far are we willing to let these technology companies go? How much more are we willing to let them destroy? All right. I'm like struggling to breathe in here. I feel like I'm getting really worked up. Yeah, my heart rate's like hitting 100 over here. I'm getting so worked up. Here's a fun little clip of Donald Trump getting mad and crashing out after being asked about Washington, D.C. Renovations.
You got a good looking crew back there, fellas, huh? Yep. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, you are here against the backdrop of the war in Iran. Why focus on all these projects right now?
You know
still
why?
seeing gas
Because I
prices
want to
soar.
keep our country beautiful and safe. Beautiful also. This place was a disgusting place. It was Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we had a terrible disgust. I don't know, you probably don't see dirt, but I do. And you walk down this pond, if you would have walked down, they'll tell you better than anybody. They had to take 11 or 12 truckloads of garbage out of that lake, out of that water, and it sat there for years like that. And that's not what our country is about. Our country is about beauty, cleanliness, safety, great people, not a filthy capital.
What is the status?
It's such a stupid question you asked. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand.
If you're wondering, the renovations he's doing to the Washington Monument, let me see if I can find pictures of the reflecting pool renovations. He, like, emptied the pool, and they've, like, started painting it blue. Yeah, let me see if I can get the, yeah, here's the full quality photo. Look at this, bro. They've started like painting the floor blue. So guess what, folks? It's not going to reflect the sky anymore. This is how fucking stupid he is. That one, he paid his own contractors to do this. He gave them like this ridiculously large contract to do this. Just siphoning more money out of the government. But the reflecting pool is designed to reflect the sky. And he's painting the floor blue. So the pool looks blue? That makes no sense. Is there like a full photo of it? Where's the whole photo? I want to see like the finished photo of the new reflecting pool. Like, the old reflecting pool actually reflects, right? But what is it? Yeah, here's what the artist rendering looks like. If I can get a full quality photo. Holy shit. Facebook and Instagram genuinely piss me off that they don't let you see full quality photos on Google Images. Okay. Here's the artist rendering of the reflecting pool after it's done. What is that? That's not how it's going to look, by the way. It's going to be blue, yeah, but this is going to be way more washed out. The sky is going to be way more washed out, and all of it's going to have a blue tint. This is going to look like garbage.
Stand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it. This is one of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great.
It's also not what she's
Beauty
asking.
made our country.
It's also not what she's asking. She's asking, why are you destroying this monument and painting the ground of the reflecting pool blue? Like, you're making it look like shit. He's like, why do you not want me to clean the garbage up and build a giant penis on top of it? Why won't you let me do that? It's really gross, folks. ABC News doesn't want me to clean up 12 truckloads of filthy garbage out of the reflecting pool and build a big penis next to it. That's what they're trying to stop me from, folks. They're trying to stop me from cleaning up the garbage and building a giant set of balls at the bottom of the monument. Folks, people don't realize I just want to make the Washington Monument great by making it look like a big penis. And they won't let me clean up the garbage. In ABC News, they think it's really great to have garbage all over the place. And they don't want me to build big balls next to the monument. It's literally what he's saying. ABC's asking him why we're destroying these monuments, and he's over here like, you just don't want me to clean up all the trash. Like, brother, come the fuck on. Not an honest bone in his body. Not an honest one. It's just the complete purposeful misinterpretation of her question. Folks, she just doesn't want me to build a big, massive penis at the Washington Monument. Isn't that crazy? Why doesn't she want me to do that? It would look so good with a big set of giant balls right at the base.
People made our country great. A question like that is
a big Washington wiener, that's what I call it. A giant Washington wiener. The WW, that's what I always say. People always think, sir, you love the WWE so much. I go, yes, I do. Washington wiener eating. I love doing it. I love eating the Washington wiener. That's what I always call it, WWE. Back in the day, we called it WWF, Washington wiener fucking. I love fucking the Washington wiener. And I'm trying to make that dream come true. I'm trying to make it my truth. The Washington wiener. Yes, folks, that's right. And it was so dirty. Filthy. It's filthy. It was so dirty for years and years, even during my first term. It was full of garbage, and now we've cleaned it up. The Washington waiter had an STD, and we gave it antibiotics, and now it doesn't. It's fully healthy. Ready for me to take it up my butt. Oh, it restarted.
I'm also with ABC
I know it
News.
did.
Can I ask you about the hantavirus? Have you been
What a cherry on top, bro. I'm also with ABC News. Fake news. He's just such a disgusting freak. And it really does, like, it still, like, hits a nerve in my body every time he says fake news. Every time. Every time he's like, that's fake news, because I know what the strategy is, right? It's to discredit the news org. So people, his base will watch that and go, that's how they go. They'll go, yeah, that's right. Fake news. I don't got to listen to them no more. I'm going to listen to OAN and Fox News. If OAN's even still around. I can't wait to hear Sean Hannity say he hates God because of Trump. His new daddy. And I can't wait for Trump to completely renovate Washington, D.C. to look like Mar-a-Lago. Hell yeah. Build that ballroom, MAGA. I know that's why he's doing it, but good Lord. And then now on top of that, the White House has announced that it's going to be hunting down, they will, quote, identify and neutralize, end quote, political groups that are anti-American, and, quote, radically pro-transgender and anarchist. Okay. I feel like that's just the very obvious slippery slope into we're going to start killing and imprisoning Democrats. So get ready, folks. This is how Nazi Germany did it, actually. They outlawed opposing political parties and started jailing people that spoke out against the Nazi party. So get ready, folks, because that's what we're about to get. All right, let's talk about this stupid bullshit that's been going around on the internet the last week or so that I don't think will become a big deal, but we'll see. I could eat my words on that. There was a cruise ship that stopped in Argentina so people could do a little bit of sightseeing in a landfill. And I guess this couple got probably bit by a rat and they contracted something called hantavirus or hantavirus or whatever you want to call it. And apparently they developed a strain of it that can be transmitted from human to human. And so people are dying on the ship. And you might think like, oh, clearly they kept them contained on that cruise ship, right? We wouldn't be talking about it right now if they were contained on that cruise ship. No, they were not kept on the ship. The ship was allowed to dock like 5 more fucking times. And then they eventually docked in Spain at one point. And I think they've now docked and it returned everybody back to their home countries on an airplane. They sent these people back to their home countries, potentially carrying the hantavirus, which has similar symptoms to COVID, by the way, with an even longer incubation period. So it's not even certain right now how many of them have it. They've gone back home to quarantine. You're asking cruise ship goers to go in quarantine? Okay. So they've gone back home. Two of them are at Emory Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. Why, I don't know. I mean, look at this, bro. Come on. It's because Emory has easy access to the CDC and they have the equipment and facility to handle this stuff. But like, why do we keep moving them around? Quit letting them go places, man. People have been getting this disease now, apparently. It hasn't spread at the same rate. Apparently it's harder to transmit than it is to transmit COVID. But that's the thing, is that the people on that ship were allowed to go home, bro. This is the same disease that killed Gene Hackman's wife. and I believe Gene Hackman himself. Could this be the new COVID? Probably not. I don't think it spreads easy enough to be the new COVID. I think you'd literally have to be like touching everything that everybody else is touching, and like licking shit that came in direct contact with people to even get it. So we'll see. But I think there have been reports of there's a case in Israel now. How? I don't know. Let me see if there's any new news, because I wrote this part up last week. Let's see. Some people might have been exposed to it recently. Doesn't look like there's anything super new about it. So it looks like it's been mostly contained. 3 Kansans possibly have it. They're under observation. I know there was a case in Israel. Do you imagine if we had, there might be, some of the passengers are quarantined in Nebraska. Could you imagine, man, if we had another pandemic in this day and age? In the second Trump era, it's fucking over. It is totally over. All right, so Donald Trump has announced that he's going to consider nuking Iran.
After these strikes, is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
If there's no ceasefire, you're just going to have to look for one big glow out of Iran. How many times is this man going to threaten to nuke Iran, man? How many times? I feel like he's threatening to nuke Iran like every week.
Yes, could you give us an update on what...
That's a crazy thing to threaten as the president. Oh, if these ceasefire talks fall through, yeah, we're dropping a nuclear bomb on this country.
latest in those talks?
No, the talks are going very well, but they have to understand, if it doesn't get signed, they're going to have a lot of pain. They're going to have a lot of pain. They want to sign it. I will tell you. They want to sign it a lot more than I do.
What was the president after these strikes?
Jesus. He is in China right now. For the first time in like 9 years, Trump went to China. And I believe he went there to ask China to basically help him, which is so embarrassing for him. He said that he thought the war would be over before he went. But basically, like, China is one of their closest trading partners in Iran. So China does technically have the power to swing some of the weight around in the negotiations and in the war. But the concessions they want from the U.S., it's so funny to think that Donald Trump would have to basically concede on, like, lowering the tariffs, changing official U.S. policy to recognize Taiwan as a part of the One China project. Like, all this crazy, and like releasing the chip ban, all this stuff. I mean, China could even request a lift on the ban of Chinese electric cars. Like, China has a lot of cards right now. Trump's like, we have so many cards. In fact, I bought a lot of Chinese cards for a great deal, and I'm going to use them against China. They don't even know it that I bought a bunch of their cards. That's right, I bought a bunch of their cards. But yeah, like, he might have to concede on some stuff. What the fuck am I looking at? Ooh, there's some interesting developments in regards to Taiwan. Yo. Developments in regards to Taiwan.
President Donald Trump met for about 2 hours behind closed doors with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping today at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. The meeting was quite a study in sort of different and major contrasts. Trump began the meeting by saying he was great friends with Xi and really sort of praising the relationship with China and full of optimism, whereas Xi really talked about how Washington's handling of Taiwan could jeopardize the relationship if it was handled not correctly. And Xi also talked about how the two powers needed to be careful to sort of avoid coming conflicts. The two leaders after their meeting then went to the Temple of Heaven and towards sort of...
Oh, that's so funny. Dude, our president is a bitch. He's such a little bitch. He's a submissive. He's China's bitch. Like, actually. He is China's bitch. He went to that meeting going, Xi, I love what you've done with the place. It looks great over here. And she's like, man, shut your ass up. Better give me Taiwan, bitch. Dude, that's so funny, the contrast. The U.S. being like, wow, you've got a really cool train over here. That's kind of neat. And Xi being like, give me Taiwan, motherfucker. And I'll help you out a little bit. Give me fucking Taiwan. It's literally the do nothing and win strategy, like, in effect here. That is so nuts.
Cultural site in Beijing, and Trump is now on a bit of a break before he has a state banquet this evening. We haven't heard from Trump on exactly how the meeting went, but it was certainly a little bit pessimistic or a little bit darker in tone, according to Xi.
Oh, that's so embarrassing for Trump. Oh my God. He got dog walked in that meeting, man. Holy crap. Oh my God. Trump's 3-day visit to China is likely to be longer on pageantry and symbolism than substantive political and economic breakthroughs. Wow. This man's going to China for fucking nothing. He's going to get nothing. This war is going to last forever and you're going to love it. Wow. Pair met for about 2 hours behind closed doors after an elaborate welcome ceremony featuring booming cannons, a band playing the Star-Spangled Banner, and China's national anthem, and hundreds of school children jumping in waving flowers and American and Chinese flags. Bro, they literally jingled the toddler keys in front of this motherfucker. That is so embarrassing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, they literally jingled the little plastic, like the little plastic keys in front of them. Oh my God. They're like, yeah, Trump's coming. Bust out the Star-Spangled Banner and get the kids waving the American flag for him, please. Hey, honey, Trump's coming to town. Get the keys. Oh my God. That is so stupid. Dude, this shit's so embarrassing. This country's so embarrassing. Oh my God. Holy crap. China being like, the big American toddler is on the way. Bust out the plastic keys. Oh my God, dude. So the Iranian embassy in Armenia quote retweeted Caroline Levitt. Caroline Levitt had a child, and which I didn't even know Caroline Levitt was pregnant, so good on her, I guess. I had no fucking idea. But she had a kid with that like 5 million year old guy that she's with, who will be dead by the time that kid enters elementary school. Just being real. And this is what she tweeted, you know, with her baby and everything. They'll probably fire her for taking maternity leave, but whatever. That's the world that she's elected to live in. And the Iranian embassy quote retweeted it saying, "Congratulations to you. Children are innocent and lovable. Those 168 children that your boss killed in the school in Manab, and you justified were also children. When you kiss your baby, think of the mothers of those children. Holy shit. What a tweet, man. Yeah, when you tuck your kid in at night, think of the mothers that can't tuck in their children at night in Iran because your boss murdered them in school. Yeah, and all the comments are just filled with children that have been maimed and murdered in Gaza and in Lebanon so far, and in Iran. Like, there's a Hein Rajab photo in here. There's a kid that got all of his limbs blown off, and there's like photos of her standing in front of all the graves in Iran. I mean, genuinely, like, this is the smoke that we should be having for someone like her. Because think of all the children that have been murdered in the Middle East because of her administration. But she has the privilege of being in America and being able to raise her kid in the peace and quiet here. The gas prices have spiked again, like, dramatically. Like, I'm not kidding you. I needed gas the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna probably, wait a little bit to get the gas. I'm gonna wait till like the next day, and then the next day, gas went from $3.89 on like May 6th to $4.30 the next day. I was like, what the hell? And I found like one gas station in the middle of nowhere that had gas for $3.89 still. And then the next day it went up to $4.09 at that gas station. But I had to go to Costco and get gas for $3.95. The fact that I have to have a Costco membership to get cheap-ish gas, relatively speaking, the gas right now is sitting at about $3.90 to $4.05, roughly. Like, that's kind of the range. But yeah, dude, the gas prices have gone nuts all of a sudden. And I think it's because we've ran out of all of our Strait of Hormuz oil. Trump said, if the gas prices keep rising, let them rise. I'm not bothered. Grocery prices are rising because the price of diesel has just shot up too. And then Trump says that he doesn't care about Americans' financial situation when asked about it. Can he stop doing interviews in front of the helicopter? The audio is atrocious. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. Dude, stop giving interviews in front of a running helicopter.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit.
This has actually changed the opinion of a lot of people that I am around every day. I have coworkers that have brought this up to me. People that don't even know that I'm very political bringing this up to me. Yeah, did you hear the president say he doesn't care about our financial situation? And then they just stare at me. Then I'm like, the fact that you had to wait for him to say it out loud to believe that? Okay. We've all known this. For the 11 years he's been in the public zeitgeist politically for the presidency, we've all known that he couldn't give a fuck less about Americans' financial situations. And that, like, are we shocked? No. The fact that it took you having to hear him say it outright. Sorry that you're just now finding this out 11 years in. But yes, it is not shocking that he doesn't care. He has made that explicitly clear for a long time now. Whew. But it is nice for him to say it out loud like this, so people in his base finally get the idea. Like, oh, this rich asshole doesn't give a fuck about me.
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all.
He's basically saying that he doesn't want the economy being strangled here to be used as leverage against him in any negotiations. But to say this out loud to a reporter on camera, devastating to his administration, because it completely tanks any remaining support of this war. Any remaining support that his base has for this war, it's going to probably be cut in half. Because they're going to be like, oh, it's just the nuclear weapon. You don't care that they're strangling our gas prices, and that gas prices are like the backbone of everything else in this country. That the price of gas kind of controls the price of everything here. Like, you don't care about that? Oh. Okay. And they start getting a little uneasy. They're like, oh. Well, damn, does the president not care about us? I thought Donald Trump cared about me. I thought Donald Trump would come to my house and shake my hand and hand me a big old check for $2 million. Because I thought he cared about me. I thought the big billionaire guy who has a history of being a crook and being a slumlord in New York, I thought he would come to my house and shake my hand and tell me what a good boy I've been for being a loyal MAGA soldier. I thought he would give me a little kiss on the forehead and a little pat on the back and tell me what a good boy I'm being. And it turns out he actually doesn't care. It turns out he actually doesn't care at all. He went on the camera and he said, I don't care about you or your finances. And I said, what? No way. He's giving me a big check. And then he said, I really don't care. I just care about the nuke. And I went, oh man, I thought he liked me. I voted for him 3 times. I voted for him in all 3 elections. And I thought, President Trump, he's going to help me. I thought he was going to come and give me a personal check. Turns out, he actually doesn't like me at all. He doesn't even know my name. This is so messed up. Can I take back my vote? I don't even know where to go after that one. He then also said that the Iran ceasefire deal is on life support. Here's the tangent he went on.
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place? What? For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place?
It's unbelievably weak. I would say, I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand. These are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree? Diagnostic. I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Daniel, go ahead. Yep. One of the best reporters in Washington.
Thank
go
you,
ahead.
sir.
What the fuck is his problem, man? It's on life support, you know, kind of like when your doctor comes in and says, your family's dying. You know what I'm talking about. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. When your family comes in and goes, when your doctor comes in and goes, your family, they're dying? What the fuck? What is his problem? Oh my god. Him calling on Dr. Oz too, the fake doctor in the room, to be like, what do you think about that, Dr. Oz? And he's like, sure. Yeah, this Iran war is going to go on for years, man. I think this war is going to go on until the midterms. And then maybe we'll have enough numbers to enact the War Powers Act. However, I don't even think the War Powers Act being passed through will stop this war. I think it'll take a whole new fucking president to stop this war. So, good luck. Good luck with that. This war ain't going to end until he either dies or gets voted out or gets impeached and replaced by somebody competent. Yeah. The reason why I mentioned the War Powers Act, by the way, is because of our favorite stroke victim. God, that's such a rough way to introduce that. John Fetterman has now single-handedly killed the 7th War Powers Act since the war started on February 28th. The 7th War Powers Act that has been attempted to pass failed 49-50 because John Fetterman voted with all of the Republicans. Not all the Republicans. I think 3 Republicans crossed the aisle to vote to advance it. It was Rand Paul, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski. They voted with the Democrats to pass the War Powers Act. John Fetterman's the only Democrat to vote no on the War Powers Act. I would say it's the rotating villain theory. I actually think it's just the stupid stroke victim theory, that this guy had such a horrible brain event that he genuinely went from being like a Zionist to being an ultra-Zionist to where it's jeopardizing his political career. I don't think he's even aware of that either. I think he genuinely thinks that he can run again in Pennsylvania as a Democrat and win the state. I genuinely think he thinks he'll be able to do that. Somebody's got to primary him in 2 years, in 2028. Somebody's got to primary this guy because he's going to try to run for re-election more than likely. Probably going to do it as a Democrat because he probably thinks he's still a Democrat. He probably doesn't even think that what he's doing is directly in opposition to the Democratic Party's interest. So, shockingly, the neoliberal Democratic Party is not right-wing enough for John Fetterman, but he doesn't think about it like that. Somebody needs to primary him because if he wins the nomination, Pennsylvania's flipping red. 100%. He barely won last time. We're going to have Senator Dr. Oz if he runs again. So he was the deciding vote. And if you're wondering where John Fetterman's mental state is, here is a perfect clip to encapsulate his mental state. He was asked by Bill Maher, of all people, what he thinks about lab-grown meat and if it should be banned in the U.S. And I think Bill Maher is taking the position that it shouldn't be. Shocking, I know.
But you actually want to ban. Yeah, that doesn't seem.
Yeah, I just think I mean, as I'm a member of the Agriculture Committee, and I really stand with our farmers now. And now, of course, we don't want like the factory farm situation. Absolutely opposed to animal cruelty. But for me, if
animal cruelty. Aminal cruelty. Folks, let's go over that. What is aminal cruelty? If I had to translate it, he probably meant animal cruelty. He's basically saying he's opposed to factory farming and animal cruelty, but that he will not support lab-grown meat.
If I lived on Mars, yeah, those kinds of that kind of what's the lab meat would be a great opportunity. But for me,
now to translate this, he's saying that if he lived on Mars, then lab-grown meat would actually be a good thing. We catch that?
Right now, like it's.
But you want to ban it? I mean, shouldn't people have the right to eat it?
It's like actively. I mean, if people have a chance to for that, but overall, for me, I think someone that's really. I mean, we are just. I thought, the really highly processed food. I mean, that's exactly the essence of that.
Now to translate this one, I genuinely have no idea. Let me call in an expert. I need to call in a stroke expert. I need to call in an expert to see if she can decipher what this man just said.
It's like, for me right now,
people have the right to.
We'll start it here. I want you to come here and try to figure out what John Fetterman just said in this interview. That's what I want you to try to do.
People have the right to eat it?
It's like actively. I mean, if people have a chance to for that, but overall, for me, I think someone that's really. I mean, we are just. I thought, the really highly processed food. I mean, that's exactly the essence of that.
What did he say?
I don't know. Literally nothing.
Okay, you're good. That's all I wanted you to do. Yeah. So our expert has no idea. Dude. This man, I genuinely, I'm not kidding. And I don't usually support this kind of things. I think it could be a slippery slope. Because I even controversially, I think they shouldn't have even done this to George Santos. Because if he lied, everybody lies to get in office. I know he did like exponential lying to get in office, but whatever. But like, this is one of those cases where like someone like him and Mitch McConnell and some of the other old ass senators, like, there needs to be a vote to expel him from the Senate if that's a thing that they can do. He needs to be medically removed from the Senate. He needs to either resign or someone needs to call a vote to remove him from the Senate chamber. Like, I'm sorry. That is embarrassing. The fact that you have no idea what he's even trying to say there. I mean, this is the issue. And when people, because, I talked about Graham Plattner earlier in the episode, and I've changed my opinion a lot on Graham Plattner. I originally was skeptical of him because of the Nazi tattoo and his Blackwater background and his military service in Iraq. And I even wrote an article on Substack about it where I called it the wolf in sheep's clothing, or I think I might have called it the man in sheep's clothing. I don't remember what I called it. But I wrote about basically could Graham Plattner be like a kind of like a potential John Fetterman? And I've changed my opinion enough now where, one, I don't think he will be. His views are way more progressive than John Fetterman's ever were. John Fetterman was still a Zionist when he ran. He had that incident where he pulled a gun on like a black person, I think. And that was a really bad look for him. But yeah, like I said, he was already a Zionist when he was running for office. It just wasn't that apparent at the time. Zionism wasn't like in the major cultural zeitgeist at the time of his election in those midterms. But I don't think you could recreate the circumstances that created John Fetterman's current form without somebody having a stroke the way that John Fetterman did. John Fetterman is like this because of his stroke. And that's not me being like offensive or mean. His staffers have literally said the way he was before the stroke versus how he is now are radically different. Something changed in John Fetterman after the stroke. So I'm not worried about there being another John Fetterman anymore. But if you're going to have a medical episode like this and then continue to be in the Senate, but to be incoherent and have radically different views than what you ran on, and you've now totally changed in personality and everything, do us all a favor and resign. I know it sounds mean, but you're representing an entire state. in the Senate, you control the fate of people's lives. You should have to resign, at the very least. Last but not least, speaking of Pennsylvania, the candidate who gave this atrocious answer to who should replace ICE, Dr. Alice Stanford, who's running in Pennsylvania 3, she has now officially dropped out of all debates and candidate forums, according to DropSite News. Because DropSite News revealed that she received a $500,000 AIPAC funding package. She basically has received $500,000 from AIPAC. And as a result, she's now been basically banished from the public eye in this race. She's not going to win. She's just not. So I'm in full support of her primary opponent. You know, I think, like I said in my last video, I was right that she seems like a plant. She seems like she's just doing what her campaign tells her to do. You know, she's not. She's basically she doesn't believe in the progressive values that she's like seemingly putting forth, is essentially what I'm saying. That it seemed like she's just doing what her campaign tells her to do. The fact that she didn't have a good answer on what to replace ICE with tells you that she doesn't hold these values herself. They're just her campaign's values that they're using as a way to get into office. So if that state representative, Chris Rabb, continues to run, that's who I'm supporting in that race. And I hope she fucking drops out. I hope she should do us all a favor and just drop out. So that's what she should do. The honorable thing, and leave the race after being historically unpopular. All right, that's the end of the episode. Go check out our merch. We've got plenty of merch up on the site. Some cool designs. Got some shorts, some shirts. Go wear them. They're cool. If you want to rep this podcast and support me. You can also get like magnets and a cup and all that stuff. You can go check it out. There's stickers on some of them. If you want to support this podcast by not getting merch, but instead just sending me money and getting a few old bonus episodes, you can go to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. If you want to listen to this podcast on audio only platforms, you can go to like Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music or the Samsung refrigerator, if it's a smart fridge. I think. Still haven't been able to 100% confirm that, by the way. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.